our fears will often be used against us. Right now, we are hearing that a lot of national security measures are being taken because of January 6th. We already had enough laws. We already had the procedures to protect against such an event. And when you hear about the individual things that happened, you're able to recognize that the issue was not that we didn't have enough laws. The issue was that we were unprepared. The Capitol officers were understaffed. They did not have access to their equipment. Improperly stored equipment broke. Equipment was out of date. And they were given commands not to use aggressive crowd control tactics. It was being planned out in the open. So having new levels of surveillance might seem like something that you want to get behind. White nationalism is a huge problem, but to use the fear of that to expand the government's ability to invade our privacy, which is a right protected by the Constitution, is unnecessary. And we have seen in the past, especially with the Patriot Act, that increased surveillance does not mean increased safety. And once you hand over these increased powers of surveillance, the cat's out of the bag. We need to look at what happened on January 6th and learn from it. Learn about the strength of misinformation. Learn about the desperation that so many people feel. And recognize that there were a lot of people who were in positions of power making decisions not to call in backup, not to call in the National Guard during this tragic occurrence. So the answer is not to increase the government's power to rifle through our social media. During the BLM protests, activists were targeted using facial recognition software, and then they were targeted outside of the protests. People who were completely nonviolent and who didn't cause any sort of damage. The Patriot Act was already a nightmare. So this is a scary time because a lot of scary things have happened. But we have to be careful not to let powerful people use that narrative of fear to manipulate us into giving up more of our constitutional freedoms.